the Ghana National Fire Service says it is working to reduce the number of fire incidents recorded across the country. The service says it will, from today, deploy personnel and fire appliances at various markets across the country from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. daily to provide round-the-clock fire cover. Now, the team will also include a dedicated task force to patrol the markets daily to ensure swift action in case of any fire outbreaks and provide constant vigilance. Now, for more on this, I have in the studio Desmond Aka, who is Head of Public Relations at the Ghana National Fire Service. Thank you so much for your time here on NewsDesk. But then let me just run you through the statement and then also give you an overview of some of the key things that we've put together here at Joy News, our research desk, just looking at how well-resourced the Ghana National Fire Service is. And so to ensure that we have all the data, we've streamlined it for you. Now, there are 248 available appliances which the Ghana National Fire Service is working with. Out of this number, 133 are faulty. That marks 53.6%. Now, this is a regional breakdown of the faulty appliances, and it starts from the Upper East region all the way to the Northern region. Now, if we take the Volta region, for example, only 88% of the appliances which the fire service works with there is functional. With the Upper East and OT region, thankfully, all appliances there are functional. But let's come to Greater Accra region. Only 60% of the appliances they use in taming the flames are actually functional. The situation gets worse when you look at the Eastern region, the Western North, the Ahafo region, the Ashanti region, the Savannah region, and the Bono region. Now, if you look at the Eastern region, only 41%, 0.60% of the appliances in that region is functional. If you look at the Western North region, only 33.30% of the facilities they have there are functional. If you look at Ahafo region, 33%, Ashanti region, unfortunately, just 24%, Savannah region, 17%, and Bono region, 15.38%, and Northern region. So the worst performing regions, we know the Northern region, the Bono region, Savannah region, Ashanti region, Ahafo region, Western North, Eastern region, and it gets better from there. Bono East, Western region, Northeast Accra, however, is a point of focus for us this morning as we look at how well resourced is indeed the fire service to live up to this directive given to them by the President. Now, if you look at the regional breakdown from the Ghana National Fire Service, and we see that at their headquarters office, they have 8 available appliances, and 6 of that 8 is faulty. In the Greater Accra region, they have 25 appliances, 15 of that is faulty. In the Northeast region, 5 appliances, 3 faulty. Western region, 16, 9 faulty. Ashanti region, 25, 6 faulty. Upper East region, 16. All 16 of them are faulty in the Upper East region. In the OT region, 8 appliances, and all 8 of them are faulty. So if you look at the map we showed you earlier, where we had 100% for the OT region and the Upper East region, we were trying to let you know that in those regions, all the appliances available there are faulty. In the Volta region, 17 appliances, 15 faulty. Upper East region, 14, 12 faulty. Central region, 22, 15 faulty. So let me bring in Desmond Aka at this point, because we've just read the statement. You're already deploying your members across the country to ensure safety. But are you well resourced to have this done?
All right, so thanks for having me. And let me say a very good morning to your cherished viewers. We have not hidden it from Ghanaians. Since, let's say, for the past 3 years, we've been talking about the fact that we are challenged. And we've made our case known to government and the good people of this country that we don't have it all. And as an evolving institution, this is also bound to happen. These engines are aged, and every now and then, even as we try to maintain them, they break down, and then we put them back on the road. So this data that you were going through, I think was compiled somewhere in June last year.
Okay.
And was made available to you. As I speak with you, even before the Christmas break, the management of Ghana National Fire Service, led by our able Chief Fire Officer, CFO Julius Alepkure Kuno, ensured that the maintenance team moved into these regions. And as I speak, a place like Upper West, where we had 12 of these vehicles down. Now we have all of them back on the road. Some of the faults were dysfunctional radiators, brakes, beacon lights and all that. So the faults ranges from minor to major. So for all the tenders in Upper West, all of them are back on commission, in commission. OT, 8 tenders were out of commission as at that time. As I speak with you, 3 of them are back on road. Efforts are being put in place to repair the remaining fire tenders. And across the country, in aggregating them, about 85% of these tenders are back on the road. But the fact still remains that management remains committed and to be able to put into use or back on the road some of these appliances. And now the challenge here is we are spending a huge chunk of our resources in maintaining some of these broken down vehicles. And I know that even as government has heard our plea, I remember the previous regime, it got to the procurement processes involved in procuring us with these new state-of-the-art fire engines, got to the value for money stage. And then we know that this new government will have been presented with the same challenge, and they are working. And the assurance is that very soon we are going to get these fire engines to be able to augment our efforts to be able to deal with the fires that confront us.
I'm just going through the statement you put out on the back of the President's directive, and I'm looking at the number of personnel you are deploying. You say that you have deployed personnel to markets across the country, but you do not state just how many exactly you're deploying. Can you give me the specifics?
All right, so you would bear with me that in recent years, we've recruited, government has helped us to recruit well over 7,000 workforce for us. And this exercise is no new, just that this time around we want to add some innovation to it. And therefore, we want to deploy as many as possible of our personnel to help us to be able to deal with this incessant market fires, especially where we are having this challenge or has to do with these makeshift market structures where it is not properly planned and the predominant structures are wooden and they are closely knit to each other. Illegal wiring connection is very rife in some of these markets. So what we want to do differently from what we've been doing in times past is to ensure that this market task force is really activated so that they get to the doorsteps of these traders. Some of them would be made to go with visuals. Others are also going to go with audio visuals. Currently, what even the Accra Command is doing is that they have some messages, audio messages, that they play in all these markets within Greater Accra. So at various timings, maybe in the morning, at dawn, in the evening, and in the afternoon, they play these messages. So even if you don't have a one-on-one engagement with our fire personnel, at least you are able to hear 1 or 2 messages which is able to affect the behaviors of these traders and then beneficiaries of this market facilities. And we hope that when we are able to add the visuals to it, the visuals would kind of appeal to their conscience that these are the things that you do. Once they see it and then they are able to resonate with it, then it means that it's going to go a long way to change behaviors to afford us to prevent some of these hellish fires in our markets. Again, the Market Task Force is going to conduct risk assessment in some of these markets such that the hazards will be identified, the risks will be mitigated so that, in effect, the collaboration between us and the market managers as well as the various stakeholders within the market space will work closely to mitigate all these challenges, whereby we are even directing the managers of this market to contract certified, competent electricians or electrical engineers to be able to help them put in their wiring installations in order, buy quality materials and do the needful so that fires emanating from the various electrical faults will be nipped in the bud. So for this initiative to be very, very successful, we will need the cooperation of all other stakeholders. That is why we are collaborating with the Ghana Police Service, the National Security, to kind of widen our surveillance, where we'll be able to foil attempts by, people with ill motives who want to set these important infrastructure ablaze. Once they see our vehicles there, our beacon lights are there, once our people are also in the market 24/7, at least it's going to help us to be able to keep some of these nefarious activities in check. We've also identified this issue where the traders themselves contract individuals to keep watch over their wares. This makes some of them sleep in the market. They cook there, they smoke, all manner of activities that tends to create fire conditions in the market. What we are going to do differently is to put these people together and train them as fire wardens, train them on the use of fire extinguishers. You know, the extinguishers are first aid appliances. That would help us to be able to keep fires at their nascent stages, their initial stages at bay. Once we are able to empower them in that area, and they are always in the market, once they see these fires erupt, they will be able to deal with the fires as quickly as possible. And we are going to empower them with our hotlines. We've realized that, especially with the Cantonment fire, when the fire happened, we had a lot of people there, but none of them took the pain to call us. So our people stationed closer to the market saw the fire and then initiated a response until a 12-year-old boy even came to prompt them that this is what he has also seen. So what is happening to us as Ghanaians? Some of us are not trying to be Ghanaians. We are trying to be spectators.
Well, I'm sure another concern is also about the response time, and to a large extent is because of the availability of equipment to do the groundwork. You agree?
Let me tell you, my sister, in 2012, the Ghana Statistical Agency or Service brought out a survey about our response time. And they intimated that we're doing an average response time of 12 minutes. Okay. Way back in 2012. Currently, as I speak with you, we are doing an average of 8 minutes. The Cantonment fire, it took us 2 minutes to get to the scene. The recent Techiman fire, 1 minute to get to the scene. I've even lost count. Last year, around September, October, Kaswa Market, it took us 6 minutes to get to the scene. Northern region, the Timber Market fire, it took us barely 8 minutes to get to the scene. The Kwadaso Market fire somewhere last year in Kumasi, it took us barely 6 minutes to get to the scene. So the cliche that we don't arrive early to fire scenes, for me, it is not wholly what's on the ground. We have challenges with the proximity of our stations. We know that is a fact. We are not everywhere. So sometimes, depending on where the incident is happening, where maybe the closest fire station is about 20 minutes away. That is where we travel a bit of a distance, and it takes a bit of time for us to be able to get there. That is why for the past few years, we have always been advocating for the local authorities, the assemblies, to help us build state-of-the-modern fire stations so that we'll be closer in the communities, so as to be able to respond within the international response time of 5 minutes. So we have been able to salvage property. As at 2024, we've been able to salvage properties worth over 500 million Ghana cedis. We were able to lose, properties worth about half of this amount that I've mentioned, all because of our pragmatic and dedicated service that we are always ever committed to give to the people of Ghana, just irrespective of the circumstances we find ourselves. So if we are adequately resourced to be able to take the gospel according to fire safety to the doorsteps of every nook and cranny of this nation, let me tell you this. We have a department that is responsible for educating Ghanaians on fire prevention and safety. And this department has been up and doing. And just that, if we can give them a little push, they need utility vehicles mounted with PA systems. As I speak with you, even Kokomrimle here, if we want to do serious, effective fire prevention education, it will take us not less than 3 months to be able to do this. But if you ask us, we are only able to make do with what we have now. And I'm happy that the current regime has heard our plea, and they are putting in adequate steps to be able to. But I want to quickly make this point.
Okay.
In as much as government has the sole responsibility of retooling the Ghana National Fire Service with the state-of-the-art equipment and then tools to be able to help us to deliver on our mandate, we as citizens who are mostly affected by these hellish fires take away our capital, destroy our livelihoods, and make life difficult for us. Some of us can take some initiatives. We know elsewhere they do. Why is it that we are not coming together? People are well connected. People have friends all over the world that they can even help us with, even use fire trucks, water tankers, and even PPEs to be able to serve their interest. But in Ghana here, we are not having that same kind of support. You know, we have places like East Legon, where we know we have the affluent people there. We have other infrastructure there. But we don't have a fire station. And we have all these affluent people there. Meanwhile, they can put themselves together and do something, because that is where their investments are. So if we would always want to sit aloof and say that it is the sole responsibility of government to resource fire service, yes, we agree. But if we can be bold enough to be citizens who want to impact their communities, citizens who want to take their own destinies into their hands and also do something. We want people to be able to adapt some of our stations, like I earlier on indicated. Some of the fire engines, the faults with them are minor, such that a radiator is leaking, and therefore it has been booked out of commission. A beacon light is not working. Their siren is not working. And it will not take somebody. So you want
individuals to come and help? As we wrap up the conversation,
some of the stations and then help with this maintenance regime.
As we wrap up the conversation, you have 2 minutes to answer this. I see how passionate you are about fire and fire-related issues. But when it comes to the market fires, how many personnel have you deployed to the fire, to the market specifically? And I see in your statement that they are required to provide daily situational reports. What would that report be used for as we wrap up the conversation?
All right, so let me give you this basic analysis.
Okay.
When you get to our stations, we run a shift system.
Okay.
So with our patrol team, those who mount the fire tender, on the average, they are about 7.
Okay.
So for each shift, you have 7 people manning the appliance. And every station has its own strength. and some have bigger human resource in terms of the numbers. They have larger numbers than the others. So in terms of me giving you a specific number, that would be very difficult for me to do.
Okay.
But most of the people have been deployed. And it's not every community where we have our stations that we have markets. So definitely where we have these markets, especially the makeshift one, that is where a lot of our efforts are being channeled. So as we will do this continuous patrols, surveillance, and then these constant engagement with the relevant authorities to keep the fires at bay. And we remain committed to doing that, to ensure that these fires become a thing of the past. But we will need the cooperation, especially of the local authorities. If the assemblies who benefit from these markets do not support us, do not help us with the needed support, it is going to also affect our delivery or the success of this program. Because you and I know that we don't take tolls from these markets. It behooves on them. And then also I would want to passionately appeal to these local authorities that for us to be able to deal with this situation in the long term, these makeshift markets would have to be properly put up in a modern state so that we'll be able to enforce the needed safety protocols, such as enough exit routes, escape routes, fire protection equipment, and all that. So as if there's any fire-related emergency, we can quickly respond, evacuate the people, and then manage the fires there effectively.
And what would they be doing with the reports that they present daily?
Yes, the report is necessary so as to be able to come up with the needed contingencies to be able to deal with the fires. Mind you, some of them will be doing risk assessment. We'll be coming up with the various risks and then the hazards. And based on that, we would come up with strategies to even educate them to affect their behaviors so that they wouldn't burn their rubbish after close of the market and what have you, just to prevent these fires from occurring.
Thank you so much, Desmond Aka, for joining us here. He's head of public relations at the Ghana National Fire Service. Now.